Thank you everyone for coming, and today we are going to be playing with some miniatures and we are going to be making some mini Santa scenes. So there's lots of different ways that you can play with these miniatures. I'm kind of obsessed with them right now. I remember back when I was growing up, my dad must have gotten a gift from somebody that he worked with that was like a beautiful wreath, and it had this scene inside of it that was made of all these miniatures, and we pulled it out every single year. And it was just the absolute best gift that just kept giving. And it had like some wind up components that made sound. So it just has a lot of nostalgia for me of having all these cute little miniatures to play with. I'm so happy that they're so popular again and have come back in such a big way. But we're going to talk about how to put together one particular Santa scene, but then I'm definitely going to show you how to play with these and how to add them to some of your collections that you might already have and things like that too. So let's go ahead and switch over to my other camera so that you can see this beautiful Santa scene going on. So this is the one that we're going to be making together in class today. I'm going to show you how to add in the paper, how to kind of style your minis, how to add some lights, things like that. But then I also wanted to show you a couple of other options. So we have, Michael's is having some really cool stands to display your miniatures as well. So this is one of those options that you can have this wood base, we can dress it up, we can add a little scene, a fireplace, some milk and cookies, and have a totally different kind of scene that's a little bit more open. We also have these beautiful like cloches that are just gorgeous glass. So this one has some cool crystal rocks in the base, a couple of mini Christmas trees, a couple of mini packages, and then a cute little bow at the top makes it like it's a giant ornament. So I love that scene too. We'll talk about playing with them with the different stands. Like I said, we're going to focus on this main Christmas tree one, but I just want to show you some more of your options. So this is an ornament that's at Michael's also where you can take this base off. You can picture putting a little mini scene and then closing it back up. Or some of our more traditional open ornaments where you can take the globe and it comes apart in two pieces. I've also kind of styled in a little nostalgic Santa and Mrs. Claus stealing a little kiss here. You can add a little bow and a ribbon here and have a really nice ornament that can stay closed. You can glue it and stay closed, or you could put some other elements in here to kind of add some more fun. So all of these are cool ideas for our miniatures. And what I like about the miniatures is I like being able to play around with them. So I like having several different ones to kind of put into different situations and kind of see what comes up with all of our creativity. So this is what we'll focus on. And the first thing I want to show you how to do is how to put this backing paper onto the tree. So I'll show you how this Ashland little cubby comes. It comes like this. It has these three shelves, and it's obviously adorable for any kind of little collector's items or little trinkets, things like that, that you can put into these three different shelves. And this is how it comes. It comes painted this beautiful green, so we don't have to worry about painting at all. But in order to kind of let our minis stand out a little bit more, we're going to add a little bit of backing paper in order to kind of give it more dimension so that you can see the minis and that they're actually playing in the little scene. So that's the first thing we're going to do is pick out some different paper. You might notice on my original that the bottom scene is kind of like a lighter color with dots. Then we have like a plaid, and then we have like some words or some red. So flip through any kind of scrapbook paper stacks. If you were here with me for making cards, you might have a couple of these paper stacks that we made cards with. So any of these kind of like leftover papers could easily turn into cool backing papers. I think these diamonds might be good for my back. And then maybe in the middle, I'm going to have a little bit of a poinsettia scene, which will be a little bit different. And then maybe some red plaid up top. So that's kind of my plan, but flip through your paper stack and figure out what you like best and figure out what's going to work for your particular scene. And then one tip I can give you right off the bat is that I know that this portion right here on the bottom is the largest portion. And so a 12 by 12 paper is just almost, but not quite going to fit. So you're going to want to turn your paper on the diagonal. This is the math teacher in me. The hypotenuse is going to be the longest portion. So if you turn that on a diagonal, you're going to be able to get an even longer piece. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to crease. So you'll see me creasing this paper. And what I'm really focusing on is that inner crease, because that's going to give us the size of the back wall of our little scene. So I've creased this paper pretty well. And then I'm going to go back with my scissors or a paper cutter if you have a paper cutter. And I'm going to go and cut in the inner crease line. Now the dot pattern in this pattern, since it repeats so well, you're not going to have to worry too much about it being not having enough of it to fill that back space or to have to mix and match in order to piece together with a pattern. So we can see what that looks like in there. That already kind of gives it that extra white in the background to kind of give us something to pop off of. So we'll glue this down, but this looks like a pretty good fit so far for that level. I'm going to go ahead and try this plain set of paper in the center section. And the center section is a little bit smaller, so I don't have to worry about the diagonal part this time. But I am going to do the same thing where you'll notice I'm creasing. And I'm creasing all the way around, trying to give myself a good edge so I know where to cut with my scissors. You can also try tracing with a pencil using the back, but I found that this creasing actually works pretty quickly for me and seems to have a pretty good result. Just checking out my creases as I go. And if I miss it the first time, I can always come back and trim again. But it looks like I did a pretty good job with that one the first time around. So we have some wallpaper in this cute Santa scene going on. And then maybe a little bit of plaid in the top to kind of finish us off. So I think I have a red plaid I chose. Go ahead, line that up. I am going to try and make the plaid straight, lining the edge on the edge as best I can. I'm using my fingernails to really dig in there. Oh, I use my fingernails to poke all the way through. Those fingernails were really sharp. There we go. I'm going to do this where I'm bending around the edge. And then I'm going to go in and maybe a little bit more carefully this time, have my creases pop. A little more carefully this time. There we go. And you might even be able to see those creases better on this side. Oopsies. It's funny. So I'm glad that some of you have joined me live today, and let me know if you've ever made a Santa scene in the chat. I'm curious what your where you held the scene. So did you put it on a big coffee table? Did you put it in a little cubby like the one we're making? Have you ever made a Santa scene before, or a little miniature scene, and where did you put it? I'm just curious about where you set up your scene. This looks great. I'm going to add some glue to this just to make sure that these are all going to stay in their proper places. So a couple of options for glue. Of course, we have our hot glue ready to go because that's what we're going to be using overall. But I'm not really sure that I want to do hot glue with this paper just because, you know, it's paper and it's pretty thin. So I'm going to use a little bit of tacky glue because it's not going to need much to stay where it is. It already pretty much wants to stay there. I'm going to trim this one down just a tiny bit also. There we go. Where that still fits pretty nicely without any wrinkles. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of tacky glue along some of those edges and especially in the corners. There we go. And place this back in there. And voila, we have wallpapered floor number 1 of our cubby. Floor number 2. Putting some tacky glue again. Adding a bit of wallpaper, the background, giving us some extra Christmas cheer. And the last piece is already pretty well in there, but I am going to add some glue just so this can last through the years. Oh. Bit of tacky glue. And perfect. Right back in its place. There we go. So now that we have that, we can start looking at some of the different miniature options in order to figure out what kind of scene we want to create. So of course, some favorite miniatures are always going to be some miniature Christmas trees. These are just easy. They come in lots of different sizes and shapes. So these are fun. I'm going to open these. And definitely before I start gluing things down, I'm going to play with my scene and kind of try some different things. And like when we were making the wreath yesterday, sometimes it takes taking a picture and stepping back from what you're working on to see whether or not you actually like what you're working on. We have some adorable Santas. We have some little cute street lamps. And we got a hardworking elf making toys right up there to the last minute. So the elf is going to be one of the ones we're going to put in our top scene to match this. So in order to place that in there, you can just hot glue that if you'd like. Or what we're going to do is we're going to give him a little rug. So we're going to give him some felt. So I have lots of different colors and kinds of felt to play with also. And you can think, do you want a red rug? Do you want a peppermint rug? Do you want a green rug? What kind of rug do you want that elf to be kind of sitting on? So I have some different choices to play with. And I'm just going to cut kind of a nice oval shape for this rug. And I'm just freehanding this. And I can keep trimming it down until it's something that I think I like. And of course, you want to double check to see that it fits onto the shelf before I keep perfecting this. Adorable. And you can't really see it from the angle that you're at, but that's okay. And I like the way that it kind of just gives you something different. Like he's working like literally on an area rug in his little workshop. I'm going to cut this down, make this look a little nicer. Well, and then I can put this in and I can hot glue that down. And I'm going to put the elf right on top of it and hot glue it to the felt. So since I'm going to hot glue it to the felt, I can do that part first. Have my hot glue gun up and running. Let me know if you have any questions or comments in the chat. I'm happy to help you if you're trying to make along with us. I'm going to put definitely on the feet and on the bars of the workbench. I'm going to place him on my little rug. Adorable. And then I'm going to place him up here on that third shelf. So when I place him up here, in order to keep him pretty stable, I'm going to use a fair amount of hot glue. I definitely want to get some where the base is so that he gets good and attached to the cubby. So I'm putting a pretty substantial amount of glue on there and placing him in, pushing down on that felt. a little so you can see it better. There we go. Pulling off those little strings. He's looking pretty good. And then I put a good amount on the center where his balance actually is. But if I want to go back and put a little bit more around the edges, just to kind of keep it nice and tucked, I can. Awesome. All right, let's move on to our next scene. And of course, Santa would be awesome to have. We have lots of different options of trees, but another one of my favorites are these two that come in this box together. I think this is a really cool tree because it already has ornaments on it, whereas these other ones are a little bit more like outside kind of trees. These could be decorated inside trees. And they have a cute little stand, but we can make it a tree skirt in the same kind of way that we made the elf's rug upstairs. These will have wire on them, so you can close them if they come in a different direction that you're not quite into. So we were able to do that. Let's see what else we want to play with on this shelf. Maybe a Mrs. Claus would be nice to add to our Santa and Mrs. Claus hanging out there together. I think this Mrs. Claus has been through some things. She looks a little like she needs some more help, and she would appreciate someone else wrapping these presents. Santa looks fine, but Mrs. Claus looks like she could use a little bit more assistance, I think. Maybe the elves could help her out so she can get all of her things done. So I'm going to make a cute little tree skirt. I think I'm going to make it in red. I'm going to take some red felt and I'm going to try and cut a red circle. So first, I'm kind of get a scrap going, and then I'm actually going to try and turn it into a circle. So I folded it in half to try and get a little bit of symmetry going on. And it's a little oval, but I kind of like it. And just I like how it has something different to sit on. I think that's really cute. So this scene seems to be pretty set as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing it. I'm going to glue the tree skirt down first this time because it's in a little easier space for me to work with. Making sure that that's pretty secure on that second floor and that my tree is going to fit in there. That looks good. So then with this tree, I can go ahead and put the glue directly on that wooden base as well. Awesome. Yes, miniature gifts around the tree would look awesome. So hold that thought, Jennifer. I'm going to come back to that. I think that's a great idea. So on our third shelf, I had kind of a more outdoor scene going on in my original picture. So if you want to do something similar to that, we can have some of these cute little trees in a little forest scene. And then you might have also noticed those adorable deer. So I have some of those mini deer to play with too. They come in a little 2-pack. So we got our trees and we got our deer. And then we want a sleigh for Santa and Rudolph and all their friends. So I'm going to go ahead and get these deer out, make a little winter scene in the background. Cute. I love these. These are adorable. And I'm not going to put anything because this is kind of like the ground. But what I might come back and do is I might add a little bit of buffalo snow or some polyfill or something like that to kind of give more snow to the scene, since that's kind of meant to be a little bit more outdoors. So I can have my sleigh, figure out where I want that one. Also kind of put in my reindeer. Definitely need a forest. Luckily, we have a couple of different sized trees like we were talking about before. They're pretty lightweight, so they will tip over unless you glue them down. But we will glue them down once we kind of know where we want them to be. I think this is looking really cute. I think that might even do it. So I'm going to go back with my hot glue gun. And I think I'm going to start by putting my sleigh in place. The sleigh has these rails that I can definitely use to attach with my hot glue. There we go. And we can hide any extra strings or little clumps of glue with some snow at the end, so I'm not really worried about that. I like the way that that's kind of tilted out a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and place this tree in the back corner and have a good amount of glue on that base. And you can kind of use that wire if you need it to bend in a different direction than what you already have it. And then I'm going to put these two larger trees in the background over here. And you can decorate these miniature trees also. You could make a cute little garland with some embroidery floss or with some yarn and kind of decorate them as well. Adorable. I love these little ones. Those are so stinking cute. Perfect. Then I'm going to think about where I want these deer to be. I'm thinking that I can go ahead and give them a permanent home with some hot glue. Nice. Cute. I think I'm going to put another little tree over here. And then we do have these really adorable little stoplights. So, or street lights. So maybe if I move the little tree before it gets set a little bit to the side, I can put a little light post down here. Just in case Rudolph is, sleeping, you can't light the way, we can have a little light post to help with that light. And I am going to put the little tree down in that bottom corner. And then Jennifer suggested in the chat that we find some cute gifts to go around that tree. And I 1000% agree with you and think we should find some gifts. So let me dig into some more minis and see what else I can come up with. All right, this is going to be fun. So we definitely have some gifts. We also have some little gift bags. I think that's really funny and very cute. We have some white swans. We have a ladder, and I'm kind of feeling this ladder might be the perfect height to connect these cubbies. Oh, gosh, it is. So maybe this is how the Clauses got from outside in this outside scene to inside their house using this little ladder, or maybe they can go from one level to the other in their house. So I really kind of like this ladder and I might attach that. These are the street lamps I was telling you about. Look, we also have letters from Santa, so we could put those kind of scattered around his feet, or maybe give him a little table and put some of those letters, or maybe the letters to Santa are actually up there with the elf. We have a cute little train. We have a tea set. Maybe Santa and Mrs. Claus would like some tea. We have some adorable cookies. I think we need cookies. It's just so fun to play with these minis. Obviously, I am quickly becoming obsessed and having so much fun. Look at this stack of gifts and maybe a stack of little books. Okay, these I think are going to go on that second shelf. So now we're just going to keep playing and keep adding. I really like these little tiny books. How cute are those? So let's get these out. See what we can do with these. I think you should get books for Christmas. I think those are great gifts. So we could put a couple of them standing up. We can put a couple of them laying down. but I do like the idea of having some books in there. I also like the idea of having a couple of gifts, maybe even a train that goes around that tree. I do love these letters to Santa. Let's see what they say too. One of them says, "Dear Santa, I've totally been good this year, I promise." That sounds like someone who might not have been good. You have to work that hard at your letter. I promise I've been good. Sounds a little suspicious if you ask me. So this little, "I've totally been good this year, I promise," could go up there with this elf. And this is a little postcard to Santa. He could even be holding it. It could be down here by his feet. "Dear Santa," this one says, "Dear Santa, I definitely wasn't very naughty at all this year." These sound suspicious. Whoever wrote these sound suspicious. I feel like they might have been naughty this year. I don't know. I don't know. But I like all the mail kind of coming in up here with the elf because the elf's got to get all this done. I'm going to go ahead and just put a tiny little dab. I'm going to put the glue dot in and then put the letters on the glue dot. There we go. I've totally been good this year, I swear. Love that. So cute. This is that third shelf. Try and get a better picture for you where we have a couple of our letters. Then I am gonna take this little Santa letter and prop it up by his feet so he doesn't forget. Oh, I haven't glued down Santa and Mrs. Claus yet. We gotta get them a spot. Little letter right here at his feet. And then I'm gonna take a couple of these books and stand this Christmas Eve book up. And I'm gonna lay one of these books down. Adorable. Maybe I'm gonna stack this one on top of it. I kind of like that idea too. It's just fun to play with, for sure. All right, what are we thinking? Do we want to add anything else? Or we can move on to another one. This stack of gifts could go somewhere. And cookies. Let's save those for another one. All right, so I feel like this scene is looking pretty good. And the one last touch, a gift bag. Okay, gift bag with the elf. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here to help me out. I just need to craft along with someone sometimes. So we could have a gift bag, 'tis the season. Look, they even have like little tissue paper in the gift bags. I can put this back here. I like that back there. Yep, I think that's where I'm gonna put it. There you go. Up and at 'em. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. The elf did need something in that corner. It was missing something. But I think we got it with that 'tis the season bag. Perfection. Okay. I'm going to put this to the side, but if you think of other things to add, we can. And one thing you'll notice that we haven't done quite yet is the lighting. So there's lots of different kinds of lighting. This is one of the box. This is a colorful box. And so you can take this lighting and it's wire and it's bendable. And so you can kind of frame it around the three. So I don't have the batteries in this one, so now that it's out of the box, it might not light up for us unless I switch out the batteries real quick, which I could do. But you have lots of lights to work with, and you have this wire. So you can just go ahead and put glue dots around and kind of bend the wire as you go in order to get the shape. And then on this one, what we did at the end was we took all of what was left over, and you can kind of attach this on the back. So especially if this is going to go against a wall or something, you can attach this battery pack to the back and actually tape it on, glue it on, make it a little felt pouch, any of those things in order to have this on-off switch so that you can decide if you want it to light up all the time, if you want it to flash, what you might want it to do. So let me see if I can steal these batteries and put them into my colorful lights. And then we can take a couple minutes and put those on. Maybe I can steal them. And maybe I cannot. We will see soon enough. Aha. I'm sure I'm smart enough to open this. You would think it would slide. Oh, there we go. Yay. I am. Okay. I'm going to take these and put them into the colorful lights this time. There are also these lights that come as snowflakes. They come in shapes. They come as presents. There are so many cool mini lighting options. And so many of them come with these battery packs. Yay. Lights. Okay, we are in business. Okay, now we're good. And then we can take these off of the strand and we can use the wire and bend it around and really highlight all the different levels of our beautiful miniature scene. We'll grab all of these off of this piece of cardboard. And I've tried both ways where I put the hot glue dots on the lights and on the wire, and it doesn't seem to affect the lights, especially if you use a low heat hot glue. I don't think it will affect the lighting at all to do that. I think you'll be just fine. So I'm going to find the end, and I'm going to start in this corner over here, and I'm going to put some dots of glue down. And I'm definitely going to stay and hold while the glue is drying to make sure that it stays against my tree. And for me, not against my paper right now. And I'm going to keep putting some dots across. Pretty small, but that's okay because this is pretty delicate and lighting. And it is wire, so you can keep bending it so that it can lay flat and land in that hot glue pool. And let it kind of harden for a moment. I'm going to keep outlining some of the shape of this. Looking good so far. And I'm going to use the corner to anchor some more of the lights. And the corner is gonna start curving up, so I want to make sure I get that wire bent. Holding that into place while it kind of dries a bit. Sure, if I want to go through each level, I think I want to just go around the outline. I don't think I want to go across. A little bend again here and here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to put some glue in this corner and in this corner and a little bit further up and hold these in place. And if I was doing this by myself and didn't feel like I wanted to hurry, then I think I would be keeping this and holding onto this longer to make sure that it gets good and secure. But I'm a little bit afraid of burning my fingers in front of you guys. So I'm trying to be super careful. There we go. Just adds an extra element. I think I was telling you at the beginning of class that we had this gift that was a wreath, and it had a little present that was like a little music box in it too. So like Santa had like a list of names, and someone had painstakingly wrote in names, including I think my dad, that I guess he was being good. And in this book of Santa, like Santa had a list of names of everybody that was good. And then there's a little music box that sang Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. It was just such a fun memory. I think they still have it. I think they still put it up every year. But imagine if you can find yourself a little music box and these lights. It's just something really magical, which is what this season definitely calls for. Magic, whimsy, fun. And you can see I'm getting the hang of it with these lights. Now that I said that, it'll probably start acting up again. There we go. Look at me. Cool. Another couple dots. And then I'll start bending this towards the back so that we can keep the back either hidden or have this power pack. Like I said, we can attach it. We can make it a little pouch with some felt. We can do lots of different things. Take it back here. We are coming to a close with this class because I'm knocking things over. That means it's just about time to wrap this up. Put these back here for now. But check out this adorable scene we have with these cool lights. And if I turn the lights off in my room, you could see these glow even more. And I will take some time and go back and make sure that I secure these because I was doing that pretty quickly. So a good question says, is there a tree shadow box from the Michaels stores? And I do believe we have plenty of shadow boxes. Most of the ones that I know of are in the shapes of squares and rectangles, But this itself could easily be a shadow box. If you can have a custom piece of glass that covers this, that would be fun to do. Let's go ahead and kind of play with another scene. I'm going to push this off to the side. And let's play with another scene so that you can see some more of the different options that we have. Let me give myself some more space. There we go. And I was talking again at the beginning of class about these ornaments. So what I did with this one is you'll see a ton of hot glue down here. So because the hot glue ends up looking like ice or snow, I really thought it was fine to just really encase their feet. So they're not going to wiggle, they're not going to fall over, they're not going to tip. And then I did go ahead and put a little bit more polyfill just kind of around them to make it kind of look like snow and look more wintry. But what's cool about this is that it is 360 and you can kind of capture all the different looks with Santa and Mrs. Claus capturing a little sneaky kiss. And then you can have these together. We have tons and tons of cool ribbon. So let me grab some ribbon and finish this one off. This, I think I misunderstood the question in the chat. This shadow box that I'm working on, yes, is from Michaels. Absolutely, 1000%. And I think right now it's on sale for $15. It was $25, and now I think it's down to about 15 since we're getting closer. And I know a lot of people are like, it's so close to Christmas, it's silly to just make things and whatever. It's not, because these things can last year after year after year. So I have some of this peppermint. These ribbon bundles are so cute because they have different thicknesses. Some have words, some have designs, some have like sparkles and shine, but you can kind of mix and match with these cute little ribbon stacks. And then I can put this through the top of this lovely globe. And that'll both keep that connected, but also add a little touch with this sweet bow. I can also add a little bit of ribbon to do some hanging. So if I can put it onto my tree, I'm going to put a second kind of ribbon through. And I'm going to tie a little knot so that there's enough space to put it on to a branch if you're actually going to put it onto a Christmas tree. There we go. And tie a little knot up here. Boop, boop. And we can hang it, and we can have that little bow hanging. Very cute. Another option that we have is kind of like this open scene. I have a lot of fun minis on. So here's this like kind of more of an open scene that you can play with your minis too. So for this one, I think it's fun to have like a circle or some kind of felt to put in the center. It can be red, it can be white to kind of be like snow, but just you can trace this. So I just traced this piece of felt and put that in here, and it fits nicely. And then this is another little scene that we can set up together. So let's play around with this one, why don't we? And let's think some more options. We have plenty more trees to play with. We have this tree. We have some more snowy trees. We have some ribbon. We have our street lights. We could make a little table. We could have some milk and cookies and tea. That sounds like fun. I feel like I want to do that. So I'm going to kind of make my own little table. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use one of these ribbon spools to kind of set me up. I'm just peeling off this bottom part. And then I can have this is kind of like a table, and I can raise it higher by adding another one. Scoot that back so you can see it. Or I can elevate the tree and put a lot of things around it. That could be fun too. So I love to like take little pieces of cardboard and just add different things and kind of make up my own. So if I just take a little rectangle and maybe put a little tape, I could add this and make it higher, and I can make a table that's going to be higher. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue or tape right here and make this table. Trim that down nicely. At this point, I'm just kind of playing. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me in the chat, or if you want to see me try something, or if you have some ideas of what we should play with together right now, let me know. Put that down so it's nice and even. And then you can still use the circle as the table. And maybe I'm going to take a little piece of paper and have something nice to go over that. I think I am. So it could be some plaid, like it's a tablecloth. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to trace this on my paper. I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to glue that on. So that takes care of the hole in the center of my little table, and also gives me a tablecloth. I love that little tea set. So I really want to put the tea set out on the table and some milk and cookies. I think that's really cute. I'm going to glue this tablecloth onto my makeshift table, just cardboard. Any circle of cardboard you have will do. You can cut your own. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Love it. Cute. So now we have a little garden table sitting out here that we can place our cookies and our milk and our tea. So here's the adorable little plate of cookies. Adorable. Love it. Got it on the plate. Haven't glued my table down yet. I also have the little tea set. Beautiful platter. And this lovely teapot. And this lovely teacup. We can put those onto the plate and onto the table. I'm going to go ahead and glue these so that they don't keep tipping over. Teapot and teacup. Cute. And I can flip those onto the table. Plate of cookies. This plate is really, really nice. It's not as lightweight as some of the other ones. It's got some substance to it. So now we have our tea set and our little plate of cookies sitting out. And then perhaps we have a decorated Christmas tree in this scene in the back. And perhaps we have a bunch of gifts back there as well. I have some presents. I think I'm going to stack some of these presents in the back here. As well. Maybe I want to move that tree a little bit. I think I'll put a tree in the corner. There we go. Looking good. I think I'm going to glue the table down so that I don't keep tipping it over. So, then let's see what else I want. I think I want this train to go in the scene. So this train is cute. It has a couple little cars and they all kind of clip together. You can make it as long or short as you want. Cute. Might need a tiny little plier. Oh, no, I don't. I got it. Good. Have the train in there. I'm gonna have to tilt it to be able to see it, but if you were up closer, you might be able to see it. Or maybe I don't have a train. We have other options. I have swans a-swimming. I have some more gifts. I have this stack of gifts. Stack to go with what we already have. And how about we add our friend, Mrs. Claus? Love her. I think she deserves some milk and cookies. There we go. I'm going to hold this up so you can see it in just a moment. I'm going to put another stack of presents back here. And here is another adorable Santa scene where we have our tea, we have our cookies, we have lots of stacks of presents, a beautiful tree, and a Mrs. Claus hanging out in this room. So I think this is a good place for us to end today. I'm so glad that so many of you were able to join me. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Feel free to add snow to anything that you want to in order to make it even more of a winter scene. But I really enjoyed this. Feel free to find the cloche and kind of do something more elegant with this glass that looks like a giant ornament. Feel free to use that open candy cane space to play around with, especially if you have smaller fingers or larger fingers. It might be easier to work with something that's an open space rather than putting things into closed spaces. So this is a really cool option for you too. And then don't forget about all of those ornaments and the way that you can take those ornaments apart and make those really special too. So thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed it. Tomorrow or next week on Thursday and Friday, we're going to have 2 last-minute classes where we teach how to do some last-minute floral arrangements and also some wood burning. So if you need last-minute gifts, we'll be here for you crafting again next week. Bye, everyone. See you soon.